Buenas noches. Good evening. First, I want to say how I am humbled and honored to have been selected the 2023 Hispanic Man of the Year. These past 2 months, experience of multiple TV, Channel 13, ABC, Telemundo, Univision Radio, luncheons, breakfasts, interviews, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch at the Tampa Rays game, pre-game presentation at the Tampa Lightning preseason game, have all been an unforgettable experience. But more importantly, it was because alongside of me was my companion, the Hispanic Woman of the Year, Catalina Botero Lovett. When I met her from the first meeting of each other, it was a quick connect, chemistry, bonding, and mutual respect between us. Catalina, thank you for your instant friendship and making this whole series of events we experienced together so enjoyable. Thank you. I look forward to staying in touch for the many years to come. I would be remiss if I did not at this time thank two very special persons. Derek, Catalina's husband, and Esther, my first wife of 54 years, for their unselfish sacrifice and unwavering support, allowing Catalina and I to share so many moments together around the Tampa Bay area as ambassadors of our Hispanic community. Esther refers to herself as the Santiago Education Foundation widow, quote unquote. When I am in the Gala fundraising and lately the Hispanic Man of the Year, I get into that mode and she recognizes to let me be. And I thank you, Esther. I love you both, Derek and Esther, as well as Lucas, Sophia, Stephanie, Jamie, and my two grandkids, Gabriela and Cole. I also want to thank two ladies representing the Hispanic Heritage Inc., Maribel Garrett and Maria B., I call her Maria B., Torres, for their tireless and their efforts keeping us, Catalina and myself, running all over Tampa, meeting all these public relations appearances. Thank you both. I especially want to personally thank Dr. Hernan Leon for being one of the first of many to write a letter nominating me for the 2023 Hispanic Man of the Year. Gracias, Hernan y Esperanza, for being here tonight. I appreciate that. I also want to thank my close and special friends. They're out there. Thank you. My family, my brothers from the crew of Santiago Education Foundation. They're all over here, I'm sure. And my dental colleagues, Drs. Alberto Ruiz and Mari Carmen Torres, for being here tonight as well. You being here tonight means a lot to me. Lo quiero mucho. By the way, I have to mention that this also includes Sonia and Eggy Vila, who could not make it here tonight. I wish Sonia a speedy recovery. You have all heard my bio, so I will not dwell on it. But I do want to elaborate briefly on how being selected Hispanic Man of the Year has rekindled in me my past. Born of Puerto Rican parents, they never talked to me in English, only in Spanish, my whole life and theirs. When I graduated from high school, my Spanish was not very good looking, to quote Celia Cruz. I probably can say that when I entered the University of Puerto Rico, I was speaking, writing, and reading out loud in Spanish at a third grade level. I owe my freshman Spanish and humanities teacher, professor, who was also pro-independence of Puerto Rico, Yankee go home. She nicknamed me El Gringo. And my dad's brother, my aunt, and Olga, an older cousin in Puerto Rico, for challenging and helping me to learn the Spanish grammar, word pronunciation, writing with accent marks, etc. But probably my biggest motivator was an embarrassing moment during a college humanities class, reviewing Homer's Odyssey, the Iliad, among a class of 500 students one Saturday morning at an amphitheater. The professor asked if anyone had looked up a specific town's location. There was no response among those 500 students. It was dead silence. The professor shamed us for not being inquisitive as college students, but she quickly followed up by asking, ¿Dónde está el gringo? Because she knew that I looked up every word in Spanish and I did not understand, when I didn't understand the word in my Spanish-English dictionary. She had me stand up and said, "Don't let me down. Tell the class the location." I responded, "I know the location, but only in English," to which she responded, "Tell us in English, we're all bilingual here." I answered, "Minor Asia," and all the other 499 students laughed at me, for the simple translation was Asia Menor. But I was too nervous to figure it out. I promised myself that very moment that I would never be humiliated like that again. And I fully devoted myself to learn, read, write, and speak Spanish proficiently, as well as understanding better the Hispanic culture and music. Remember, my first language was English. To digress a little, during my college freshman orientation, I was unsure if I would enroll in Army or Air Force ROTC. But when I saw the University of Puerto Rico Air Force ROTC brochure and my now wife on the front cover, as part of the female counterpart called Angel Flight or Madrinas, I saw her physically in uniform. I had no doubts Air Force ROTC was for me. We did not talk until I was in my third year when we got paired together because of our height to represent the Air Force ROTC program during Armed Forces Week in San Juan at the San Juan major hotels and nightclubs. Esther became my mentor, not only the love of my life, but helping me understand this Hispanic culture, the people, served as my Latin dancing instructor, and continues to improve my Spanish. When I graduated from college, I got orders to go to pilot training as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. Almost a few weeks later, talk about change, I got accepted to the University of Puerto Rico School of Dentistry. I called the Air Force to allow me to accept that honor, and they agreed. I became an Air Force officer, dentist, and my first destination was Washington, D.C., where I was assigned to the President's Support Squadron as their dentist. I got a leather jacket with a presidential seal, Doc Ortiz. I got to ride on Marine One, Air Force One, worked on President Nixon as a dental assistant and dentist. And you will laugh. My call sign assigned to me by my unit was, when I was on board of either one of the two aircrafts or in a secure area, was Tooth Fairy. Within 2 years, I was offered to specialize and accepted at the Indiana University School of Dentistry, where I received my master's degree in restorative dentistry. The Air Force asked me when I completed my master's where I wanted to go. I said, I want to go to Panama Canal Zone, where I was born. But I specified, I want to drive there, I don't want to fly. Security concerns were brought up, but I convinced the Air Force I was bilingual, to give me a red diplomatic passport, and I would get through all the country's border checkpoints. They finally approved with one stipulation: I stay in locations with a U.S. consulate or an embassy so they could check on me and they could track me as I went to Panama. This was 1976. There were no cell phones. Driving with Esther through Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama was a 45-day vacation for us, but more so a learning experience for me and understanding the different Hispanic cultures of different countries, language, idioms, but more important, I got to practice my Spanish. While assigned to Panama, I was assigned to oversee all the South America U.S. Embassy Air Force attachés' dental needs. Once a month, I went to every different South American country and again learned more about the culture of more Hispanic countries. Stephanie, our daughter, was born in Bogota, Colombia. As my parents with me, Esther and I always spoke to Stephanie in Spanish. When we were in Turkey and she was in kindergarten, she stopped speaking Spanish because she said it was rude since her classmates could not understand us when we were speaking Spanish. Luckily for us, my follow-on assignment was Madrid, Spain. We decided to take Stephanie out of the American school system and enrolled her in a private Spanish girls' school taught by nuns. We lived off base among Spanish neighbors, and again, not only did Stephanie adapt to the Spanish culture, met new Spanish friends, was speaking Spanish daily, but her dad, me, was able to improve even more my Spanish. After 4 years in Madrid, we would send Stephanie back to Madrid for her summers until she was 21. Obviously today, she is fully bilingual. I share this story because I know I've heard many of you in the audience have faced the struggle of your children not able to speak Spanish today because a lot of the immigrant parents wanted more of their children to learn to speak English first. Living in Europe for 6 years, we traveled all over and learned to appreciate a lot about different cultures and languages. But as Esther likes to say, de Madrid al cielo, from Madrid to heaven. We loved Spain. The culture, the people, the language, the food, the wine, the history. After serving over 20 years in the Air Force, I was being pressed to accept being groomed for General of the United States Air Force Dental Corps, which I've refused twice. I would always answer, I'm a wood-finger dentist, not a desk jockey. I finally decided coming to Florida, where I already had my Florida dental license, and found Tampa to be my ideal retirement location to set up private practice for its weather, beaches, sports teams, raise my daughter, and close to Puerto Rico. This was 31 years ago. Within a short time, I became a member of the crew of Santiago, and shortly after, in 2002, I was asked to serve as vice president of the Crew of Santiago Education Foundation, and in 2015, I was elected to continue as president when my predecessor passed. From the beginning with the foundation, I felt the calling of giving back. Since I went through 10 years of college, dental school, and graduate school, all on scholarships myself. Now, 21 years later, I feel tonight a validation of all the efforts our foundation has done for the Tampa Hispanic community. We have donated not 2 million, close to 5 million, benefiting over 1,100 Latino student recipients to attend college at the University of South Florida, University of Tampa, and Hillsborough Community College. This academic year alone, we have 114 on scholarships from the Crew of Santiago Education Foundation. We are the #1 provider of Latino scholarships in the Tampa Bay area. For these and so many other reasons, I am very proud and honored to be the 2023 Hispanic Man of the Year. Thank you very much.